Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Nathan Fung from Oklahoma City. President Cornforth, trustees, faculty, parents, and guests, I welcome you to the 33rd annual commencement of the Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics, the class of 2024. It is my pleasure to introduce Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dan Little of Medill. Mr. Little received his undergraduate degree with honors from Harvard University and his Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Oklahoma Law. His wife, Prudence, graduated first in their law class, and Mr. Little served as the editor-in-chief of the Oklahoma Law Review and was also selected Outstanding Senior Law Student by the Oklahoma Bar Association. Still practicing law, the Little Law Firm has been ranked in the top 5% of all law firms in the nation. Mr. Little understands quality education and the lifelong impact that it can have on an individual. Going back to the profound influence of his Greek and English teacher at Thomas Jefferson High School at St. Louis, Missouri, Mr. Little is an avid reader. He reads Homeric and Attic Greek and other great works, including Homer, Plato, and New Testament in Greek, Shakespeare, and the Bible many, many times. Mr. Little believes in the ancient Greek philosophy that body, mind, and soul are closely related to each other. In addition to his daily reading for the mind and daily prayer and meditation for the soul, Mr. Little exercises every day, missing only 5 days in the last 37 years. He has completed 238 marathons or ultramarathons and 3 Ironman triathlons of swimming 2.4 miles, biking 112 miles, and running 26.2 miles. In 2019, at 76 years old, and February of 2023, at 80 years old, Mr. Little completed the World Marathon Challenge of running 7 full marathons on 7 continents in 7 days, breaking the world record as the oldest finisher by 11 years. Mr. Little will compete again this year in October. From its founding, Mr. Little believed OSSM could and should be the best academic high school in the nation, public or private. For the past 38 years, he has served as our first and only chair of the Board of Trustees and has helped us achieve the highest level of academic excellence in Oklahoma and the nation. Being ranked this year as high as second in the nation. For only the second time in 33 years, Mr. Little is unable to attend commencement. Still, please join me in thanking Mr. Little in his 38 years of devotion and commitment to OSSM.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wesley Horn. I'm from Mustang, Oklahoma, and I have the honor of speaking before you today. Before I begin, I would like to thank the faculty and staff for their incredible dedication and our friends and families for supporting us through this journey. A special thanks to my mom and dad, who gave up so much of their time to listen to my rants and bring me food, never once complaining. We seriously could not have done this without you. To say that our 2 years at OSSM have been a wild ride might be the understatement of the century. From the time we submitted our application to this moment right now, our graduation, we are the only class in the history of this school who has, in some form or another, been under the administration of each of OSSM's 3 presidents, Dr. Wong, Dr. Manning, and President Cornforth. I think everyone on this stage could tell you that those transitions weren't exactly easy. Change rarely ever is. In fact, nothing at OSSM was easy. From the first day, I'm sure I wasn't alone in my frustration and struggles over how to get a fitted sheet on my mattress without it collapsing in on itself and swallowing me whole like a Venus flytrap, only to go down to the Great Hall to be bombarded by first night assignments, and I was still naive of the struggles to come. From titration labs to E&M P-sets, from US history note cards to cries of I smell a rat, from math majors and K quizzes to calls for all students to be out of the dorms for 8 o'clock classes, we've seen it all. We've seen rules change and refrigerators move. We've seen faculty and staff come and go. But here we are, 650 long days later, sitting on the steps of the Capitol, moments away from receiving our high school diplomas. In the midst of it all, we too were not immune to the change. I honestly think, and this next line's about to be real corny, so brace yourselves, the biggest change happened within ourselves. When I applied to OSSM, I was dead set on being a civil engineer. I made a very intricate 7-year plan in Microsoft Excel, of course, mapping out nearly every move I plan to take over the next few years to get me to my career goals. So I come into OSSM with this plan, and I was determined to stray on the straight and narrow no matter the cost. I wrote one of my OSSM application essays over my passion for bridges and overpasses. I even said on there that I was extremely excited and extremely passionate about taking geoscience seminar. I'll let y'all in on a little secret. I never actually took geoscience. Sorry, Dr. Underwood. Despite my detailed plans and general stubbornness, after 1 semester at OSSM, I realized that a degree in engineering would require significantly more chemistry classes than I was comfortable taking. That's the silly thing about plans. You can never plan for everything. So I abandoned ship, looked around, and followed my heart. If my engineer or bust blinders had stayed on, I never would have found youth and government. I wouldn't have voluntarily taken 2 semesters of crochet. I wouldn't have the amazing friends that I do now, and I definitely wouldn't be considering a career in the humanities. Shh. In a roundabout way, I'm extremely grateful for all of the changes of the past 2 years. The unexpected turbulence knocked me off of my planned path and into my senses. Whether you ran that half marathon, like some of our classmates did, or you only ran 4 times for the mile run attempts for Coach Vossen, there's one thing in life you can't run from: who you are and what you love. The world is so random and so wide. Putting on blinders and restricting yourself to such a narrow path is like listening to a symphony but only hearing the bass drum. As an extremely wise person once told me, almost everyone has a different life than the one they envisioned at 18. Everyone thinks they have some foolproof plan, but in the end, life ends up taking them on the path they were supposed to go. You can't control the winds of change. The only thing you can do is try your best, follow your heart, and know that your hard work will put you where you're supposed to be. So here we finally are, the OSSM class of 2024, Masters of Change, about to embark on the biggest one yet. The biggest question I received over the past 2 years is, why did you come to OSSM? And that answer is easy and obvious: Dr. Wong's fried rice. But the more difficult and more important question to answer, which hardly anyone ever asked, is, why did you stay? I've spent 2 years thinking about that, and I think I finally found my answer: the people. The OSSM class of 2024 is a brilliant group of dedicated, diverse, thoughtful, compassionate, curious, and empathetic individuals, and I have only grown in my appreciation for this class over the past few weeks. Even to the final days of this semester, we've had each other's back, stuck up for each other, and showed that hate has no home at OSSM. As we prepare to go our separate ways, I want to say one final thing to us. We've all heard, and we'll probably hear again, chase your dreams. The sky's the limit. You are the future. And that's well and true and good, but you know that already. And so I'll say what I want to say. Go easy on yourself. It's okay to take a breath or a break. Your plans will probably not work out exactly the way you wanted, but whose do? You can't plan everything, so relieve yourself of that burden. Cut yourself some slack. If you're losing your mind just a little, why don't you meet yourself in the middle? It's your first time on this planet, and mine too, and I don't know about you, but I don't work here. You're doing great, so be kind and patient with yourself. I'm so proud of all of us for sticking through this and sticking with each other. I've never seen camaraderie quite like this. All quiet on the Western Front has nothing on us. I'll miss you all dearly, and I want to close with a quote from the greatest television show of all time, Bluey. Well, look, sometimes special people come into our lives and stay for a bit. Then they have to go, and that's sad. But the time when they were here was happy, wasn't it? Maybe that makes it all worth it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Annabelle Bozarth from Tulsa, and I'm honored to be speaking before you on this special morning. Thank you to the OSSM faculty, staff, and the Parents Association for the hard work and intentionality they have put into our education and overall well-being. As OSSM students and soon-to-be official alumni, we could have not completed our 2 strenuous years without all of your support. We appreciate each and every one of you. I would also like to give a personal thanks to the people that kept me going through tough times and told me I could do great things even when I doubted myself. To my mom, thank you for all the times you would repeatedly say how proud you are of me, and even though I struggled at times to see my own capabilities, you continued to encourage me. To my dad, thank you for letting me express my academic frustrations when I was overwhelmed. I also appreciate the quality caffeine you supplied me for the past 2 years. And lastly, to my roommate, Danny Curtin, thank you for the endless moments of laughter and comfort you brought to me during the highs and lows of our 2 years together. As we go our own separate ways, I hope you find someone to keep up with your key card as much as I did. Many of my friends and family would collectively agree that I have gone through a drastic change during my time at OSSM. I started OSSM crying in front of Coach Vossen during my interview because I was so incredibly anxious. Now I am standing here speaking confidently, sort of, in front of all of you. My journey brought out qualities that I would have never discovered if I didn't push myself out of my comfort zone. I have found my self-confidence, developed a sense of resilience, and most importantly, learned the value of the small things that shaped my life during these 2 years. Everyone talks about the huge assignments that take months to complete, or the exciting events that take place through the school year. But what about the minor occurrences that most would ignore when talking about the overall OSSM experience? Things like seeing your classmates loot every candy bowl and storm Dr. McCargish's office for snacks during the West Civ breaks, cheering on your friends as they finish the dreaded mile run, or Dr. Roberson teaching me genetics in the basement during a tornado warning at the start of finals week. Our story would not be complete without these moments. The minor joys and inconveniences shaped our experiences in the moments between all the big things, like polypeptide bonds connecting amino acids. They are the vital connections that link us together. Yes, we have conquered some hefty assignments, such as the annotated bibliographies, physics finals, and 12-page term papers. We have faced changes that created walls between us, or setbacks that altered our plans. But those things didn't stop us. You know what almost did? The tedious little irritating parts that made us nearly lose our minds. From sitting through heated discussions over parenting methods and history of organized crime, to friends getting on our nerves because of constant close proximity. From unexpected fire alarms because of burnt butternut squash soup, to mezzanine campouts spying on the printer to see if the teacher for our next class printed a quiz. From the character-building experiences of talking through issues on our floors, asking for help even when it seems humbling, and learning to keep our mouths shut when we don't like certain rules. Those things pushed us to our limits, brought us together, and shaped who we've become. Don't get me wrong, the huge events made the OSSM journey challenging, but without the smaller things, there would be so many gaps in our story. Ranging from standing outside in the rain or a surprise April snowstorm with friends to picking up our first West Civ test like a bunch of pigeons diving for bread. From late night study sessions in the couch pit to bickering over lunch table seating arrangements when someone sat in another person's spot. Even though it didn't seem like it should matter, it did. Those things, as small as they were, all mattered because they filled the space between the big things and made our story complete. Maybe the minor occurrences that passed unnoticed are what kept us going, whether we realize it or not. As we walk across the stage to receive our diplomas, remember all the little things that you experienced in your own journey to get where you are today. The small individual moments that others would think are insignificant that mean a lot to you. Each of us have that one moment that we will hold dear after we leave. For me, I will always value the times, you know who you are, that a special someone made an unhinged statement only for me to receive the privilege of witnessing a million different reactions unfold for my classmates. As we leave here today and disperse to our next calling, notice the small things in life. Start living now and relish in your own accomplishments as they come. You may have big plans and goals for the future, and they will arrive sooner or later. But for now, be present, be intentional, live in the moment, even the little ones. Because of those moments that seem insignificant can make all the difference. I am so proud to call you my classmates, and we have worked hard and long for this day to come. Enjoy every bit of it because you have earned it. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Randy Nettie, and I'm from Moore, Oklahoma. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker and noted alumna, Teresa Dietrich. Teresa's 25-plus year career has been focused on solving complex problems through building, growing, and scaling technology, products, organizations, and their processes. She recently joined Invoca as head of engineering, leading the entire technology and engineering organization. Invoca is a revenue execution platform that connects marketing and sales team to help them track and optimize the buying journey to drive more revenue with technology integrations and artificial intelligence. Most recently, Teresa was the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Stack Overflow. While there, she led product community and engineering through the company's growth, fundraising, and application for $1.8 billion by Prosus. She also served as the global head of product and engineering at McKinsey New Ventures and chief technology officer at Namely, a fast-growing SaaS HR, benefits, and payroll platform. Additional work experience includes positions as Senior Vice President of Technology Operations and Security and Chief Security Officer at WebMD. She also worked at AOL, where she spent 10 years engineering and architecting the global infrastructure that supported and integrated their applications and many acquisitions. Teresa earned her master's degree from George Mason University and continued as an adjunct professor. She earned her BS from Carnegie Mellon University. She is also a member of the Oklahoma School of Science and Math Foundation Board, supporting the magnet high school that ignited her passion for learning and technology. Teresa's other passions are learning and travel. She is constantly absorbing knowledge and information, reading more than 400 books each year. Teresa's love of travel has led her to over 90 countries and all 7 continents. She loves capturing images of her travels and sharing them. Teresa and her husband, Jacob Rosenberg, currently split their time between their homes in the San Francisco Bay Area and Palm Springs. Please join me in welcoming Teresa Dietrich.
I think that intro is supposed to make me feel distinguished. It just makes me feel a little old, especially with these kids up here. First of all, let me wish all of the OSSM class of 2024 graduates a hearty congratulations. Successfully graduating from OSSM is a huge achievement, and you all should be very, very proud of yourselves. I know the rest of us here are honored to be part of your journey and this celebration. Many years ago, I was sitting in your spot, and I remember all the mixed feelings. Excitement about heading off to college, relief at having completed my time at OSSM, sadness at saying goodbye to my classmates, anxiety about heading out into the unknown. However, all of those competing emotions were drowned out in a sudden downpour in the middle of my graduation ceremony. We all had to grab our chairs and race into the rotunda to finish. In the official picture of me receiving my diploma from Dr. Manning, I resemble a drowned rat. There are no copies available. I can only hope that the unpredictable Oklahoma weather will be kinder to you on your graduation day than it was to me on mine. This isn't actually the first time I've given the commencement speech at OSSM. I first gave it in 2005, which my husband was kind enough to point out to me you all weren't even born yet, so thanks for that. I was scheduled to give it in 2020, but a little thing called the pandemic meant we didn't have a graduation ceremony. OSSM changed the trajectory of my life. And it's my honor to contribute my time and talents back to the people and the institution itself. OSSM challenges you more academically and personally than ever before in your life and pushes you beyond what you even thought your limits were. It expands your ambitions and shows you opportunities you didn't even know existed. Your time here forges powerful friendships with classmates, faculty, and staff. I'm still in touch with so many folks from my time here. I am so grateful that I had both the opportunity and the courage to attend OSSM, and I'm grateful for the lasting impacts it had on my life. I certainly hope you will feel the same way. So general advice for a great commencement speech is a high story to advice ratio and keep it concise. I'm going to do my best. I have 4 pieces of advice I wish I could go back and give my 17-year-old self and tell them how important they would be. Although I will say I'm not sure if Wesley's speech was actually a great intro for mine or made mine slightly redundant. Maybe it's that we're both from Mustang. You can judge for yourselves. You will face so many challenges and decisions in your lives in the next 10 plus years. None of us know what the future holds. I spent too much of my life trying so hard to figure it all out in a permanent sense. Let me tell you what an exercise in futility that had been. The best any of us can realistically hope for is to have things figured out for right now, to be resilient, to be adaptable. You are writing your own story every day with each decision you make, no matter how large or small. So as you go on this journey, please remember, be curious, be kind, be open, and be self-aware. Let's start with be curious. Be curious rather than judgmental. You should seek to understand rather than need to be right. In school, so much of the time we're rewarded for always having the right answer. But in real life, there's often no obvious right answer. I have found that admitting that you don't know the answer, but committing to figuring it out is far more honest and realistic. At least a couple times a day, someone will say to me, "Thanks, that's a good question." I'm proud that I lead with questions rather than making assertions or assumptions. I often say I don't have the answers, but I can usually come up with the questions that will get us all to the answer together. Early in my career, I spent a lot of time troubleshooting technology, trying to figure out why something wouldn't work or why it suddenly stopped working. I learned the technique of the 5 whys. The premise is that it takes asking a series of why up to 5 times in order to get beyond a first or obvious answer and get down to the actual root cause of the situation or the outcome. I found this practice of inquiry to be useful in just about any situation. For example, as a people leader, I often find situations in which people are acting counter to what seems like their own best interests. And I usually have to go several layers of why to figure out what is motivating their behavior and how I can persuade them to change it. I've been in the technology industry for over 25 years, and it's changed so much. But being curious has allowed me to adapt and evolve throughout my career. Being curious has led me to traveling to all 7 continents and nearly 100 countries, which means I have friends everywhere and can feel comfortable in almost any situation. Being curious has led me to read, tens of thousands of books, which means I can find something to talk to with just about anyone. Trying to understand new ideas, experiences, or perspectives will enable you to evolve your own knowledge, beliefs, enabling you to more easily work with a more diverse set of people. And remember, knowledge is not static or absolute. You can always learn more. Leverage curiosity to discover and explore passions, both personally and professionally. Be kind. Most people will automatically think of showing kindness to others when I say this, and that is, of course, valuable and important. The hardest lesson I ever had to learn about kindness was being kind to myself. As there are many high achievers here today, I hope you will understand what I'm talking about. My mother used to say when I was in school that their job as parents was to support me because no one could possibly be harder on me than me. You might say I turned a corner on this journey earlier this year. I participated in a workshop in January where we did a really interesting exercise. We were in a small group, and we had to give voice to our harshest internal critics, to each of the other 7 people in our group to voice back to us. While the process of giving your worst personal fears or criticisms to another person to say out loud was definitely a deeply vulnerable and transforming process, it wasn't the most impactful part of the exercise for me. As I am known for being outspoken with a strong personality, each of the other 7 in my group often gave me the harshest, the meanest, the nastiest thing that they had to say to themselves. I had to stand there, look them in the eye, and say these things over and over to them to help them come to terms and move past this. This exercise broke me. I had to say things to a person I would never, ever want to say to another human being, but that we often somehow feel completely comfortable saying internally to ourselves. My goal now is to be as kind to myself as I am to others, and I hope you will all learn to be kinder to yourself and give yourself grace. Niceness can often feel performative or expect repayment. Instead, you need to learn how to identify true kindness in others. To me, kindness is sharing what you have with those that actually value it, a generosity of spirit. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel, said Maya Angelou. My goal is to be a safe place for other people. I've learned to be intentional about what I share and how I go about sharing it. What do you have to share? Your time and attention, your experience and knowledge, your encouragement and appreciation, your personal story and your own growth. This may change over time. I share my knowledge, experience, and support widely and freely with people I've met throughout my life. I definitely have some areas that I tend to specialize in, such as leadership, technology, travel. I probably talk to at least one person a week outside of my day job to act as a coach, advisor, or friend. But let me give you two examples that both have to do with OSSM. Last fall, my OSSM classmate, Matt Inslee, reached out to me because he was taking on his first ever role managing people. He wanted advice on where to get started. There's so many books, blogs, courses out there. I helped him develop an operating model and an onboarding plan for becoming a manager. Matt and I interact occasionally, haven't seen each other in probably 10 plus years in person, but I felt honored that he thought of me when he needed this support. Last fall, I also met our new incoming president, Tony Cornforth, for the first time, and we spent over an hour getting to know each other. I shared that I understood how isolating it can be at the top of an organization. If he ever wanted to bounce something off of me, for someone that was connected to OSSM but not right in the middle of it, I was there. I was happy to be an ear. Within a week, he reached out about a dilemma he had and wanted to talk through. He already had his answer, but he just wanted a sounding board to think through the decision. I only knew him a week, but I am proud that my authenticity and sincere desire to help came through, and he felt comfortable reaching out. So think about what you have to share with others and how you can encourage them to receive it. I personally want to leave a legacy of curiosity and generosity. What will your legacy be? Be open. You don't have to say yes to every opportunity that comes your way. In fact, you probably shouldn't. It's an excellent way to burn yourself out. But you should honestly consider opportunities that come your way, even if they don't fit your own personal current plan or personal narrative. Right, Wesley? What does an opportunity look like? It often looks like a challenge, a fork in the road, or a trade-off. You are allowed to change your mind. I'm going to repeat that again because it's really important to us overachievers. You are allowed to change your mind. You can only make the best decision that you can with the information and the options that you have available to you at the present time. If new information comes your way or new opportunities present themselves, you can reevaluate your decision and potentially change your mind. It's not only okay, it's healthy. When I was your age, I would agonize over each and every decision as if they all had the same priority and urgency. Doing this stressed me out and created a lot of anxiety. But let me tell you what I learned in the meantime. Only about 10 to 20% of decisions really matter. That is where we should focus our time and energy. For most decisions, just getting started, moving in the right direction, learning and iterating along the way is the most valuable action you can take. You get enough information to pair with your knowledge of yourself, and you should be able to orient yourself in the right general direction to move forward. So now to the hard part. How do you know which is the decisions that really matter? Where do you spend that extra time, dive deeper, and invest the energy to make the best possible decision? Well, early in my tech career, before the advent of the cloud, software as a service, and common technology standards, we used to spend months researching, testing, and getting alignment before we made a single tech decision. Why? Because our switching costs were so high. Switching costs are the time, money, effort, and psychological costs associated with switching from one thing to another. You can break down the cost to be financial, procedural, or relational. How much money does it cost you to make this change? How much of your routines or expertise do you have to redo or relearn to make this change? How are your relationships or your sense of self impacted by making this change? Can you see why I think this approach to making decisions is applied beyond technology products and on to just regular life? Let me give you an example of a huge decision, disruptive decision I made that affected all areas of my life. It was the summer of 2005. I'd finished my master's degree. I had started on my PhD and was teaching as an adjunct professor while also working full-time as an engineer and architect at AOL. My sister and I, also an OSSM grad, had just spent several weeks in Australia learning to surf, exploring the country, before she started the second part of medical school. In the 6 months before I left, I'd been working at AOL Europe to help them find some partners to offer our users combined internet streaming and phone service packages. I came back from this trip with an offer to move to London to be the technical lead as a chief architect on what was a £500 million project. No pressure. To build out this network in the UK because they couldn't find a strategic partner. I was 27 years old, about to turn 28. I'd never led a project of this size and scale. I had to pause my academic pursuits, and I had to move to another country where I knew almost no one. Those are some pretty serious, large switching costs. The financial costs, fortunately, would largely be borne by the company, so that really wasn't an issue. I'd be rebuilding a life in London, not just professionally, but personally. How would I stay connected to friends and family? Was I embarrassed or feel like I was giving up by pausing my academic pursuits, walking away from my adjunct role? What happened if I failed, right? That's the overachiever's worst nightmare. What happens if I fail? How would it affect how I and others thought of me? Well, I worked my way through the switching costs, both to go for this and in the worst case scenario that I failed and I had to find a way back from it. And I understood what the costs of the decision were to shoot my shot. And I did the scenario planning for my worst case. I felt like I could live with the worst case scenario. And as I always say, plan for the worst, hope for the best, and reality usually lands somewhere in between. Being open has led me to embrace opportunities to work and travel around the world, be exposed to problems spanning many industries, and meet incredibly smart and talented people. My best advice is to be open to new opportunities, but have a framework to use how to evaluate them and make decisions. None of us have any idea what the future holds, but having an approach to making decisions, I find, can make facing them a lot less nerve-wracking. Be self-aware. Now we come to my last piece of advice, which is, of course, to be self-aware. I find folks tend to fall closer to one extreme or the other when it comes to understanding and judging their own capabilities. Some of us are overly critical of our capabilities, our performance. Others have overinflated, unrealistic views of themselves. I think it can be often hard to strike a balance, but having a realistic understanding of your priorities, your strengths, your areas for improvement can greatly increase your likelihood of success in whatever endeavors you do choose. Solicit feedback from your peers, leaders, and other folks you interact with regularly, both in regards to what you do well, but also into regards to where you can do better. I find over time that your areas for improvement don't really change, but you can continue to strengthen them. You should also invest time in improving your strengths because that will make you stand out in the crowd. You should spend time on personal inward reflection. What are your personal values, ethics, and morals? I often recommend the book, The 4 Agreements, which is about a set of 4 agreements the author recommends you make with yourself. The ones he outlines are great, and if you want to adopt them, I think that's fantastic, but I value the book more as an inspiration. What are the 4 agreements I wanted to come up with myself, that I wanted to hold myself true? How can you use these agreements to make decisions in your life to make sure that you stay true to yourself? You need to understand what motivates you, what achievement means to you, and how to celebrate successes. Pay attention to what fills up your tank, what gives you energy versus what drains it. Too often we don't pay attention to these things until we're burnt out. I really believe having a realistic understanding of your capabilities and staying in touch with your priorities and motivation are powerful insights that you can leverage to more quickly and more confidently make decisions when opportunities come your way. So I'll wrap up my remarks by offering congratulations again on this impressive achievement you're celebrating here today, but also my empathy on this precipice you stand on with so many opportunities and so many choices ahead of you, which is both amazing but can often be intimidating. I hope you took at least one little nugget from my words, but if not, I'd summarize by saying you can only make the best decision you can with the information you have today, and you are allowed to change your mind along the journey. Be open and be curious about what you discover along the way. Be kind and knowledgeable of yourself while thoughtfully sharing what you have with others. I wish you the absolute best in all of your future decisions and endeavors. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tajir Singh, and I am from Ardmore, Oklahoma. It is my honor to introduce a special person at OSSM, Dr. Brent Richards, Vice President of Academic Services and Biology Professor. Dr. Brent Richards is an OSSM alum from the class of 1996. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry from the University of Oklahoma in 2000 and received his PhD in Neuroscience from Georgetown University in 2006. He then spent 2 years as a postdoctoral researcher at the National Institute of Mental Health in Bethesda, Maryland, before returning to OSSM in 2008 as a professor of biology and the director of the mentorship program. In 2020, he became the vice president for academic services. Please welcome Dr. Brent Richards, who will announce the graduates of the class of 2024.
Thank you, Taj, for your kind introduction, and thank you, Ms. Dietrich, for your inspiring remarks. The academic program at the Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics is one of the most demanding in the nation. OSSM courses are as challenging and rigorous as those at the university level, and over 4 semesters, our students complete a credit load that would require at least 3 years at a typical school. Our graduation requirements include 4 courses in mathematics, including at least 2 semesters of calculus, 3 courses in physics, including 2 calculus-based courses, 2 courses each in biology and chemistry, 1 course in computer science, 2 elective courses from a math or science subject, 4 courses in literature and history, 4 semesters of a foreign language, 4 semesters of physical education, and 2 courses in fine arts. Members of the Board of Trustees, upon the recommendation of our faculty, Mr. Cornforth and I certify that the students assembled before you have met and in many cases exceeded our graduation requirements. They are entitled to be granted their diplomas at this time. Nathan Fung, son of Mike Fung and Noon Ta. Zane Turkson Okran, son of David Turkson Okran and Nana Turkson Okran. Wesley Horn, son of Andrea Horn and Chet Horn. Alberto Corredor, son of Jairo Corredor and Maria Duran. Annabelle Bozarth, daughter of Josh Bozarth and Abby Casper. Danny Curtin, child of Sean Curtin and Erica Curtin. Livy Huffman, daughter of Regina Huffman and James Huffman. Robin Sky Laux, child of Jamie Scott Laux and Kathleen Alberta Laux. Tajveer Singh, son of Parminder Kaura and Gurpreet Singh. Andrew Nelson, son of Michael Nelson and Candace Nelson. Rani Sakor Netty, daughter of Christopher Netty and Elizabeth Netty. Rabia Ramey, daughter of Sherry Ramey and Kabiru Ramey. Lucas Daggs, son of Q Day and Ryan Daggs. Grace George, daughter of Ipin Usuf George and Sosama Ipin. Anand Akula, son of Anji Akula and Renuka Akula. Krish Modi, son of Ankur Modi and Deval Modi. Aaron Pan, son of Zach Pan and Connie Pan. William Jiang, son of Haifeng Jiang and Lily Jiang. Adrian Pan, son of Zach Pan and Connie Pan. Billy Zhao, son of Yanfen Zhao and Yunjun Zhao. Ojas Lakotia, son of Rajesh Lakotia and Viveka Lakotia. Jacob Mang, son of Sarah Sue and Matt Mang. Emma Lou Orvis, daughter of Joey Orvis and Heather Orvis. Sydney Hover, daughter of Nicole Hover and Thomas Hover. Sarah Fu, daughter of Bill Fu and Hui Chang. Hannah Matthew, daughter of Nobi Matthew and Jolly Matthew. Soya Pearson, daughter of Lanisha Hoover and Ricky Pearson. Esther Jung, daughter of Q Jung and Gina Jung. Emma Stansel, daughter of Sarah Stansel. Yolanda Lamb, child of Sean Lamb and Peggy Lamb. Jocelyn Huang, daughter of Lisa Huang and Ni Huang. Anna Akula, child of Anji Akula and Renuka Akula. Jael Finley, daughter of Jacqueline Finley. Alice Shi, daughter of Guangzhong Shi and Huaizhu Jiang. Andrew Zhang, child of Yan Song and Glenn Zhang. Andrew Jiang, son of Wei Jing. Albert Ma, son of Shui Fang Ma and Peng Fang. Harry Huo, son of Jun Li. Grace Haup, daughter of Connie Haup and Jeff Haup. Hu Wan Ting, daughter of Si Siu Ting and Che Peik Ting. Kendall Pleasant, daughter of Jade Pleasant and Ian Pleasant. Tam Tran, child of Dui Tran and An Duong. AJ Vosi, son of Jamie Vosi and Chris Vosi. Students, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the graduates of the Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics, class of 2024. Graduates, you may move your tassels.
Congratulations, graduates. Your OSSM experience was made possible by a truly collective effort. I'd like to give 6 super quick thank yous to those who have contributed. First, thank you to the state legislature for their ongoing support, with special thanks to Senator Adam Pugh, Senator Kristen Thompson, and Representative Mark McBride. Second, thank you to the OSSM Governing Board for their guidance and direction, with special thanks to longtime trustee and champion of OSSM, Ron Bashore. Third, thank you to the OSSM Foundation for supplementing and expanding OSSM's impact. Special thanks to Board Chair Katie Altschuler. Also, special thanks to Foundation Trustee Jerry Berger for your relentless advocacy for OSSM and for your personal generosity through the years. Also, special thanks to Foundation Trustee Teresa Dietrich, not only for your inspiring speech today, but also for providing vital expertise and insight on Foundation projects. Fourth, OSSM faculty and staff, would you please rise now? You're not supposed to clap yet. Faculty and staff, thank you for your devotion, commitment, and sacrifice for the school. And thank you for regularly going above and beyond for the students. You are the heart and soul of OSSM. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Fifth, thanks to the parents and the Parents Association. Parents, thank you for partnering with us in your child's education. Parents Association, thank you for your tireless efforts to enrich the student experience. Special thanks to the officers Nicole Hover, Heather Orvis, Candace Nelson, and Jamie Vosi. And sixth, thanks to my indispensable assistant, Talita Denegre. Your positive and professional influence on our campus is undeniable. Thank you. To the OSSM class of 2024, please know that we consider you a lifelong member of the OSSM community. And please know that you are always welcome at OSSM. Don't be a stranger. If there's anything that we can do for you, please let us know. And finally, congratulations, you did it. Please stand for the recessional. We're about to stage for the cap toss picture. If you want a shot of it, you can come right up here behind the platform.